on. Where you at, buddy? Come on. Like my prop is all ready.
What number episode will Kenny run out of props?
The world may never know.
I'm not stopping this podcast until you run out of props.
You're gonna be waiting a long ass time.
You'll end up getting more props anyway, so.
It's funny. There's actually two props in particular that I don't think I can show because they were acquired not ethically. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
What, you stole some stuff?
I didn't. Okay, look, a couple of years ago, I had a group of students who, of course, they know I love theme parks. So
Yeah.
one of them came to school with a pair of 3D glasses from Gringotts in their backpack.
Oh, nice.
To give to me as a gift.
Illegal, but Kenny the criminal.
Oh, look, I'm not a criminal. They did. I would never.
You accepted that theft.
I sure did, though. And then another time, they gave me the card from ET.
Oh, nice. Kenny, if you put those on eBay, you could make some serious money.
I could, but I'm not that kind of person.
No, you're not. You need the props. Do you remember any part of your trip, Sam? First question.
I can remember bits, but honestly, it does feel like a separate holiday ago.
Yeah.
I think because it was quite short as well. It was quite whistle stop.
Hopefully, it all comes flooding back through your brain when we start asking. If not,
And if not, I know Universal well enough that I can blag it and make it up. It's fine.
Kenny, appreciate you being here again to talk Epic again for the second week running.
I know, again.
I know. It just mixed it up a bit, so it's not just me and Sam talking nonsense. I'm gonna have to regurgitate a lot of the same questions, Kenny, but it's just how it's all fallen, isn't it? Really, with the trips and stuff. So it is what it is. Hello, welcome back to the Universally Speaking podcast. Sam's back, everyone. Sam is back. No. When we announced that Danielle was back at Epic Universe last week, there was a massive cheer. that didn't go as I expected. Kenny, where's the enthusiasm?
Wait, for me?
Yeah, you're not positive. You didn't say anything.
Oh, yeah. Woo! Totally not tired or sleep deprived. Yeah. Great. So glad to have you back, Sam.
Oh, should we try that again? Sam's back, everyone.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Yeah.
When Simpsons and Despicable Me is getting like 10 times the amount of excitement, then
I tried.
I know
Sam.
my
I tried for you, mate. And as you'll have heard, Kenny is here again also. Hello, Kenny.
Hello.
Show us your prop this week for the people watching on YouTube.
All right, today's prop is Epic Universe celebrity Captain Cacao.
Oh, you got the mascot.
Okay, so here's the deal with it. You see the tag sticking off of it?
Yes.
I bought this during previews, and I thought this is what everybody was freaking out about. But this is the backpack version of Captain Cacao. So I need the actual miniature version of him, not this gigantic version of him. He's a giant. He's like almost a full-size bear cub.
That is amazing.
With straps.
Are you saying you're selling that, Kenny, then? Is that what you're
possibly. Saying? The tag is still on it, so I mean, it's going to go for good money. Isn't that right, Captain Cacao? Isn't that right?
You should be wearing that in the park, so that should be the go-to bag now.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
If anyone watching who wants to put in a bid, drop in the comments your price.
Let's see, I paid, I'm not going to say on the podcast, a lot of money for it, so definitely.
That is very cool. Very cool.
All right, putting them away now.
Sam, have you got a prop for us?
I have got a prop.
Oh, yes.
Epic Universe as well.
Nice.
This is something fresh off the new trip. And this is the Universal trophy from Mario Kart.
Love it.
Bit blurry, but it's there. I won. You know why? Because I didn't pay for this.
Did you not?
That was almost my
might have
prop
paid
this
for
week,
this,
Sam.
but we'll come to that later on the show.
Wow. Kenny, have you got that prop?
Yes, I do.
Oh, of
that
course
was
you do.
almost going to be my prop.
Of course you do.
I was this close.
I was kind of joking, asking if you've got that, but of course you actually do. I love that. Right, so first of all, apologies to all the listeners and watchers this week, as it is back-to-back Epic Universe episodes. I mean, I'm saying sorry, but I'm not that sorry. It's just how the trips have fallen with Danielle getting to go back for the first time in a few months recently, and obviously Sam has finally returned in what feels like forever. Obviously, he went to Disney also, but we'll just be talking about Universal because we're universally speaking. It literally makes sense that way.
You say that, but we do speak Disney every episode for one reason or another.
We do. We're just closet Disney fans deep down.
Pleased to say I didn't come back with a Spirit jersey. I thought, like, ahead of the trip, if I come back, especially on the flight, wearing the Disney Spirit jersey, then I'm a changed person.
So you've not
all be pleased to hear.
You've not changed teams, Sam. You're still Team Universal.
Very much so.
Well done, good man. You've not gone to the dark. Imagine if you came back and you were like, guys, I've got some big news. I prefer Disney now. That would be pretty funny if you went along with that.
The right. Bibbidi Bobbidi podcast is coming soon, yeah.
Not that again. Yeah. But anyway, the questions and talking points will obviously be similar to last week's episode when we spoke to Danielle, but also much different as obviously we've got the emphasis, Sam, with you going with younger kids.
Yep, sounds good. I'm sure there's some bits that are similar. Obviously, haven't heard Danielle's episode yet, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be some bits that's different. And, you know, God forbid early park admission strategy comes up again, Jay. I'm sure I can.
I think we've answered that. We've answered that to death now, that question. We really have answered it.
I've got strong thoughts on the way to do it.
Well, to be fair, Kenny, we mentioned last week that you might be best off going to, well, for me anyway, people that have been or are going to Epic Universe again, I would go and do Toothless meet and greet first.
That would make sense.
Not for first timers, of course. First time we should go straight to Monsters Unchained.
A ride that has a low wait all day long. Go to it first.
You need to ride it all day.
Yeah, anyway, different opinions I think on that one, but we'll see.
No! Don't tell me it's gone down your list, Sam.
No, not on that. Just on early park strategies.
Ooh, God! Started sweating then, Kenny. I thought he's got a hot take on Monsters coming.
This could get interesting.
Monsters has improved. Well, I don't know if Monsters has improved or something else has got worse.
Yeah, we know which one's got worse. Yeah, we know it. That's the exact same with Danielle. She didn't get on it. Anyway, we'll come to that later on. Just overall then, to start with, Sam, how was your whole trip, kind of broadly speaking, without talking Disney?
Without talking Disney, which was the main part of the trip, in duration at least. It was really good, to be honest. It had, I think, a lot to live up to in terms of expectations. You know, Epic, what was everyone's thoughts going to be on that? Having a very limited time at Universal, how can we cram things in? You know, much like UJ, we're used to going exclusively and, you know, for 2+ weeks at a time of only doing Universal. So how was that going to compare going back to Disney for the first time properly in years? But the trip as a whole lived up to everything we'd hope and more. It was, yeah, probably one of the, if not the best trip I think we've had. Certainly the Universal side of things, we had lots and lots of fun. Really good. I can't wait to get back. Not sure Victoria shares that opinion quite yet. We go through this every year. She'll be listening at some point when it's released. We go through this every year of she does the flight, she hates the flight. She's done with me being like true Universal fan and like eager to do stuff all the time and get out the door and, you know, not spend 3 hours getting ready in the morning. Yeah. Or close to it, you know. Spoiler alert, we didn't do early park admission once at Disney, or their equivalent. But she'll come round, you know, we'll hopefully be there again soon. But yeah, really good trip.
How sad, how tough was it? Just pretend Victoria's not listening right now. Just how tough was it to only go to Universal for what, 5 days?
Not even that. In the end, we had 3 days at the original park and then 1 day at Epic.
4 days.
So yeah, we only got 4. I think had I not gone in May, it would have been 10 times worse.
Yeah.
But it's just like now on reflection, there were so many, like, maybe not in Kenny's eyes, top tier attractions. We probably did some of Kenny's top tier attractions a few times, like Despicable Me. Thankfully not Simpsons.
Sorry, Kenny.
But there's like so many rides we didn't, like Spider-Man. You know, if I had gone a full year about doing Spider-Man, yeah, we planned to do it, and then just either the weather turned or we decided to prioritize, you know, something else over it or whatever. So not going in May, I think, would have been even tougher. But yeah, I think when you're so used to being able to go so often in terms of Universal, you know, ride things multiple times to then be pressed for time of actually what are we going to do. And I think the bit for me that was that little bit conflicting as well is we're staying at Sapphire Falls. It's a brand new resort. So many people speak so positively of it. It's trying to get that balance right between, you know, you've paid a good amount for this hotel, so you want to use the facilities, you want to enjoy it, versus you've only got limited part time, so it's tough.
You ended up paying a lot more than you planned to. We'll get on to
that.
Actually,
in the end, I didn't pay a lot, but at one point I was.
In the end, you
got a few thousand down.
We'll come on to that. Let's go to Epic Universe first, then, Sam. So, for anyone who isn't aware, I know you touched on it briefly there. Sam went to Epic Universe previews solo back in May. So this was his second time in the park, but was the first time with his family. So a much different experience, I imagine.
Really different. I think one in terms of how I was approaching it, two in terms of the excitement, but also probably expectations as well. You know, I went into the May trip not knowing a huge amount in terms of what actually was going to be there, how things were going to be, and I guess coming into it, you know, I really wanted the family to enjoy it. There were things that I thought they'd like, potentially things that maybe I would suggest staying clear of when we're so limited on time. So yeah, it was very different going into it. But to be honest, I think with the family there and being able to see things, especially through Joey's eyes and the excitement and buzz that he got for things, it was so much better. You know, May's trip, I guess probably like your solo trip or solo days, Jay and Kenny, I don't know how you kind of fared. But when I was on my own, it was very much almost ride to ride to ride. It was the metric of success was almost how much you could get done in one day. Versus this day, it was almost a bit of, yeah, hopefully we're still going to get quite a few bits done. We're going to tick a few of the attractions off, but it was kind of taking it at a slightly different pace and almost trying to let them enjoy it and digest it, knowing this was their one and only day of the trip. Which in itself, you know, was a very different approach for me. But you know, things that no chance I would have spent as much time waiting for or doing on a solo trip, we did on this day for the family, and some of the highlights of the entire Florida trip, to be honest. So yeah, we all had a really good day.
Incredible. So what exactly did you get to do at Epic?
Get the list up, Sam.
Yeah, try and refresh myself. So what did we do? We did, I would say, a lot of the big hitters. There were, I think, probably a notable attraction that, if we cast our memories back, was my number one most anticipated quite a while ago. So we didn't do, unfortunately, Donkey Kong.
Minecart Madness.
We didn't do Minecart Madness.
Mario Kart Madness. What? I don't know what we did
Mario Kart Madness.
So you didn't do Donkey Kong?
We didn't do Donkey Kong.
Okay.
No.
Too long away.
I think we did. It was, yeah. It didn't get going until a little bit later on in the day, and then it kind of got a bit of a longer wait. And then by the time you threw weather in, and it was crazy that we seemed like we had lots of time, and then before we knew it, we were like, right, we've got 2-3 hours left of the day, and like almost trying to cram things in. So unfortunately, Donkey Kong didn't make the list this sort of time. But what did we do? So we explored all the worlds. We did Mario Kart multiple times. So Joey did it 4 times. We did it 2 each. Yeah, we did it early doors. Then towards the back end of the day, we did Curse of the Werewolf. He did it twice with Rider Swap. We both did Monsters Unchained. We all did Battle of the Ministry. Did Stardust Races a couple of times each for me and Victoria. One of those rides was absolutely vile, which I'm sure we will probably touch on a little bit. But even like Victoria, like absolutely hated one of those rides.
I'm intrigued.
I'm sure we'll get there. If you've got a question, I don't know what questions you're going to ask. Maybe we won't.
Who knows?
Who knows? What else did we do? Burke, spent quite a lot of time in Burke. So the Toothless meet and greet, that was a really long wait, but glad we did it. Hiccups Wing Gliders, we both did it twice. So Joey did it 4 times. We did Fire Drill. They caught the fountain show at the end of the day. You know, we sat down, we had a bit of food, and they ended the day with half an hour in the splash area, which I haven't seen kids have as much fun at 10:30 at night. I was dead to the world by that point, but they had so much energy, just literally getting drenched. I literally got to 8 p.m. We were in the Mario Kart. I was in Family Swap, and it just like hit me all of a sudden. I was like, I need to push on because obviously we're only here for one day. But I just turned into a bit of a zombie, so it was quite apt. We then went on Monsters Unchained after and into the Dark Universe. But yes, we got quite a lot done. But at the same time, we did have the opportunity to have some breathing space. You know, we lost an hour or 2 because of weather delays. We had naps to factor into the equation for both kids. So we could have probably done quite a bit more if there wasn't for the weather or, logistics had played out. But I certainly came out of that day feeling like we'd accomplished quite a lot, especially for going in August, which wasn't the busiest, but certainly quite a month.
I will say you kind of downplayed it, Sam, but it sounds like y'all really did have a pretty good day, like a really full day, like you did almost everything. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's fair, to be honest. Yeah, I think probably on reflection, the only notable thing is, probably Donkey Kong and kind of not getting that done. But it's nice to have things to go back to. But yeah, Battle of the Ministry. I think Victoria waited first time round 40 minutes.
Wow.
Me and Joey got on in about 15 minutes the second time round, and then for that last hour or two of the day, it was literally at 10 minutes. So I'm just guessing a walk on.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, if you're in for Battle of the Ministry, then the August and Sundays.
Don't give the secret away, Sam. It was a Saturday, guys. It was a Saturday. Go on Saturdays.
Saturdays is the second quietest day. So actually,
go on a Wednesday. I know, because
Mondays are probably the worst.
Yeah, everyone's like, I'm going to go during the week because no one goes then, or I'm going to go on the weekend. It's like, it doesn't work that way, does it?
No, you've almost got to do reverse psychology on it, and
but then reverse it again.
Yeah, the reverse again. Yeah, and back to where you are. Yeah, because everyone's thinking you'd I guess any other park you can kind of go in with, people are just going it one way, but I think because people have only got one day at Epic and they're prioritizing that, they're actually thinking about it a little bit more, but because everyone's doing that, actually, yeah, you just go back to your starting point. So this year, at least weekends. So yeah, Battle of the Ministry, I wasn't expecting that. I thought, all things considered, it's probably not going to be, the busiest day compared to, July and, how busy that could be. And I'm sure Thanksgiving and Christmas. But yeah, who'd have thought Battle of the Ministry pretty much a welcome.
Sam, I only heard Monsters Unchained mentioned once there. Is everything okay? You're all right?
Only rode it once.
Was that a mistake? I think once.
I rode it once, yeah.
I only got it once. Victoria did it once.
I mean, I did it once each. It was a welcome for what it's fair, but it was literally what time. Let me go back and my phone.
Only once, Kenny. Come on.
I know that's it's rough.
You need to do it at least, again, I'm not even exaggerating with this. You need to do it 3 or 4 or 5 times before you start to process what's actually happening. Because it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't help it. Every episode, I just start going on a tangent about Monsters Unchained.
You don't have to do it 14 times, but...
You do.
I did 3 in a day, and I'm like, okay, that's good.
I certainly had the intention of doing it more than what we did it, but it was, let's have a look. So we got into Dark Universe and rode at 9:10. The park shut at 10 p.m. So by the time we got in, we had 50 minutes. We both had to ride it and do rider swaps, so that took a little bit longer. And then we ideally wanted to do Stardust races at night, and if we had time, get into Hiccups wing gliders literally just before it shut. So it was kind of that race against time, really. Now in the end, unfortunately, because Stardust went down, we didn't get a chance to do Hiccups again. But I think it was just very much, trying to get as much done in Hours of Darkness as we could. So Monsters slept, but we'll be back next time. We'll do it multiple times. Just
hopefully be back. You mean?
Well, I'll be back at some point.
Yeah.
How soon? I don't know. But yeah.
It's obviously a question we've already asked quite a few times, but for you, Sam, how different did Epic Universe feel this time compared to your preview trip?
I think it felt completely different, to be honest. I think one, just in terms of attacking it, obviously being very much back with the family as opposed to, solo, that mindset. But yeah, I think knowing what to expect, knowing where to prioritize my time, but from an operational perspective, things were a lot smoother. I didn't necessarily feel like I had to tick everything off to have a successful trip versus, in May it felt almost, I put it on myself, but kind of that pressure of I've specifically come out for this reason. So I felt like in August I could actually just take it in a little bit more and relax, and it'd be great to do lots, but if 1 or 2 things drop off, then so be it. I felt whilst we didn't get as much time as to soak in the atmosphere and to explore the world and things as I would have liked to have done had we had multiple days, I still felt some of that time could be spent doing that type of thing as opposed to making sure I did Stardust day and night, making sure I got on this ride, making sure I did that show, etc. So yeah, it was different going into it, but certainly better. But I don't think I personally, the way I am, could have just done one day Epic this year and being in that mindset that I was going into August, I think had I not had May, I would have been very much a lot more stressed and come on, we can't afford to sit down and have this meal for an hour, because that's like an hour wasted.
That's why all along Victoria let you go. That is why I've cracked it finally. She's thinking the long game. She's thinking of August trip. She's gone, I'll let Sam get out of his system now. Go have fun on your own for a few days. And then when August comes, he won't be a lunatic.
Well, clearly based on the fact she's reluctant to go back next year because of how eager I am. Not sure that quite.
I have that every year as well, Sam. I have the same issues with the can't go again next year, and I'm like, we can. Because we just can.
Before. No.
We've been 5 years on a row. Doesn't matter. I need to do Monsters again.
Podcast trip, if not. But yeah, fingers crossed she'll come round. Anyway.
Don't mention that again. Cassie will be on to us. She's desperate to make this happen. Yeah, just tell Victoria that. We need to all meet up for that reason alone.
See if Cassie survives tonight, I guess, or if she's
in a heap
on the moving walkway.
Yeah. Or rips a Cassie if she.
Well, to be fair, I think the last episode I listened on the flight back was very much rip to wrestlers.
Yes. Rip to Hulk Hogan. Breaking news. Yeah.
Now it's rip to Cassie.
Hopefully, Cassie is listening to this and is all and well. She's just currently, as we're recording this, she's a little under the weather at Horror Nights. Bless her. But she's going again for night 2. Anyway.
Okay. Well, Sam, I need to know. Did your opinions on anything change? Like the rides, worlds, any new thoughts you want to share?
Here we go.
Be good.
Here we go.
I think probably only 2 things. So one thing I experienced for the first time, and it just didn't live up to the hype, unfortunately for me. And a bit of a reoccurring theme with food, and that was a food item. And that was Frosty Moon? Is that what it's called? The ice cream
flavor? Oh,
okay.
Well, I'd heard so much hype, and I feel like Cassie was probably part of that hype. Like I went into it, and don't get me wrong. By the time I'd got it, and then walked to Burke, because we were in the How to Train Your Dragon show, it had like pretty much turned to milk at that point. It had just completely melted.
That's Florida.
That is Florida. But I just felt that way. It just felt like the ice cream was fine, don't get me wrong, but it was nothing life-changing. And Jay, I'm sure you'll get this reference a lot more than Kenny will. But we went on one of them, the brownies. I went double brownie because I thought, American brownies, this is going to be really good. And it tasted just like maybe from Sainsbury's. When you get like the little brownie cubes where you get like 20 in a box.
Yeah.
And they're fine,
like
but they're
Publix,
really not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Publix brownies are better or not, but they were just so average. And I just thought, had I not had this hyped up, it probably would have just been fine. But I went into expecting quite a bit. Second thing I would say for me was Battle of the Ministry. I think coming off the May trip, obviously, I got the virtual queue thanks to a certain person who we've shouted out multiple times.
Shout out Nick Chandler.
And obviously there was that excitement, there was that buzz, there's all those hours spent refreshing trying to get that virtual queue. And I think it was fine. There's some bits of the ride that was great, loved it. Those faces on the trio.
Bad, really bad.
Really, although I stand by Dr. Frankenstein's face is just as bad as those, to be honest. Like, I do not rate her face
dare you.
on Monsters Unchained. I know. But I stand by it. But the kids in particular in Harry Potter, not Battle at the Ministry, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it, Sam.
Well, I mean, I've got a reputation to hold up.
You have, exactly. Why change now?
But I just don't know how that one ever got past quality control. Like, surely you look at that. And
I think it was rushed.
Not great. So, who knows?
I think it's just hard to make projection animatronics work in general. And honestly, I think that was kind of the whole reason why we never got Harry Potter animatronics before, because J.K. Rowling was very much, it has to look like the actors, and this was the only way to really do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it didn't really come out the way we thought it would.
Could have been almost like physical animatronics, but if you need to put them in the background a little bit more, put them in the background, like make it more distant, or the lighting so it's not quite as obvious. But it just didn't really work. And like I said, I think Monsters Unchained, for the most part, the animatronics are perfect, apart from Dr. Frankenstein, but so much so, and I know you didn't want to bring Disney into this, but in
here
my head, the Frozen ride at Epcot, those faces are horrendous. But actually, it didn't seem quite as bad as what I remember having seen Battle at the Ministry. Like, yeah, I don't know if it's because obviously it's trying to be real people and people that we're really familiar with in terms of how many times we've watched those movies, but it's kind of at Epcot and the Frozen, it was like, this is, a projection of just an animated character. So it's like, it's not great, but okay. But when it's trying to do a bad job of a real person and someone you do really notice, it's really stood out. So just, yeah, Battle of the Ministry, solid ride. I'm not saying it's like a 3-hour wait ride. Solid ride, certainly enjoyed it. But I think that were for me, kind of without having that buzz and excitement going into it, probably felt shorter a little bit this time round. But everything else in Epic lived up to the hype. I'll be sure you are disappointed to know, Jay, that there was no black burgers this time round. But you never know, maybe 2026.
Victoria didn't let you.
No, unfortunately, we didn't get the opportunity to head to that side of the park and spend much time there. But you never know. Next year.
So, with all that being said, then Sam, how long would you personally wait for Ministry? Now you've done it a few times.
As a one-off, probably 60 at this point.
60.
But if I was there for multiple days, I wouldn't be waiting 60 minutes each time. So
I mean, the queue's worth it for that anyway.
It is, apart from that horrendous bit where there's like the magic vac.
The magic vacuum, yeah.
Seem to be going round that forever.
Yeah. When I say the queue, I do mean the first room. I don't really like the rest of the queue personally. I know it might be a bit of a hot take, but whereas the first room is probably the best queue line in the resort. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It's hard to disagree, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in terms of just blowing you away, like, I don't think I've ever been in that area without seeing everyone's reaction of just amazement, kind of going through the green smoke and just the scale. You're in awe, aren't you? So,
what was your family's reaction to walking through the Floo and seeing that for the first time?
Joey loved it. Got that captured on video. So
nice.
He was just blown away and amazed. Obviously, he doesn't know huge amounts about Harry Potter and everything kind of to do with that, but just as a queue and an attraction, he loved that. Victoria, to be honest, preferred the queue to the ride. So I
tend to agree with her.
If that's not, no,
I tend to agree.
She thought it was all right, and again, she said this today when we were talking about it, that if she was riding it with other people, because she rode it solo, because Joey was having a nap at that point. So she kind of said, look, if I was riding it with other people, and, I guess when Elle's bigger and we can all ride it together, but at least maybe next time when she can ride it with Joey, she might feel somewhat differently. But she said kind of going on it on her own, she wasn't particularly keen kind of whatsoever. So for her, like you say, walking in, that was the takeaway.
You mentioned you did Mario Kart a few times this trip. Where has that gone, up or down, or kind of stayed the same in your thoughts? You weren't keen in it first time, were you?
No. For me, it stayed exactly the same.
Okay. Now, so rewriting it didn't help?
It didn't, but the second time, my shooter things weren't working, so I thought, well, what's the point? So I just took off the glasses. And to be honest, I probably preferred it as a dark ride and just taking in the sets and just enjoying it as like a slow-moving vehicle, as we've talked about a few times. It is a little bit on the slow side. But from Joey's perspective, obviously seeing it completely different, he loved it. It was his third favorite ride at Epic. And Victoria really enjoyed it as well. And again, I think experiencing it, sorry, Kenny, I don't know if you were keen on it or not, but like for me, I probably saw it slightly differently, experienced it this time around with a child, and seeing their enjoyment from it as opposed to necessarily just mine. So it still doesn't change it in the overall rankings, but I can understand maybe why some people would love it. But I would say, if you have ridden it before and you weren't too keen, maybe try it about the glasses and see how you get on. Because I think some of those sets are really amazing.
Yeah,
some really good things to see, which actually, if you're playing the game or if you're just from the visibility of the glasses, you're probably not taking it in completely. So,
looking closer at your personal top three favorite rides at Epic Universe, then Sam, back in May, was it originally Stardust 1, Battle 2, and then Hiccups 3? Is that right?
No, it was Stardust 1, Hiccups 2, Battle 3.
And where is it now? Still the same, or any changes?
That's the only change would be at the bottom. So Battle of the Ministry for me at the minute's dropped out to 4th. And Monsters Unchained has gone up.
That's on the up, Kenny. We're on the up. Promoted into top 3. Promotion. Sam has seen sense. He's seen the light. I don't know why I'm saying that.
Are you happy with third?
Or the dark.
Battle's your favourite ride. I keep forgetting that Battle's your favourite, isn't it? Like, just.
Oh, you're talking about me? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I zoned out for a second.
No.
I had it as number 1, and then Monsters was like my number 2.
Yeah. I keep forgetting.
To me, they're interchangeable.
Favorite.
And that's the thing. I feel like if you don't say it's your favorite, some people think, "Oh, you hate it." But I'm like, no, number 2 is like
pretty good,
ranking it pretty high there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, my top 2 for me are out there. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think in the short term Monsters is going to jump into those positions.
It's not a roller coaster, that's why.
There is that in terms of Stardust, but I say we did have an horrendous ride. But secondly, I think now we went to Epic. We timed this really well, where like last year we went when Joey was really into Trolls, and that area just opened, so he like got that peak kind of enjoyment out of it. And going into this trip, he was really into How to Train Your Dragon. So I think, you know, going into that area, but then specifically riding Hiccups with him, it took it to a whole other level, to be honest, from an enjoyment, from just everything really. So yeah, for me, those 2 are very much up there. But you never know. If I ride it 9 times in a row, whatever you're asking me to do next time, Jay, it might rise up their ranks.
You've been teasing this Stardust story for a while now, Sam. Go ahead. What happened? I need to know.
We have to know.
So it's not Stardust's fault. Let's get that clear.
Okay. Oh no! Does it involve puke?
It doesn't.
Oh. Is it the other end?
I don't know. I don't know where puke would be in terms of the scale. It certainly wasn't the opposite end either in terms of.
Where's this going?
It was the weather. It was the weather. So Victoria rode it first, and as we're kind of going through the queue, like we parked the pram up. We didn't put the rain cover on or anything because the sky didn't look great, but it wasn't kind of forecast to rain in the next hour. So we thought nothing of it, just park it up, you know, start.
I mean, Orlando weather forecasts are usually bang on, aren't they? Well, they never change.
We found that out the hard way. So by the time we got into the final bit of the queue and I went into the family room, the heavens opened, but it wasn't just a bit of rain. It was when Florida is heavy rain and awful. It was. So they kept making the announcements of basically there's an approaching storm. We're going to shut the ride soon, but for the time being, we're not. So there was kind of like setting people's expectations that the ride could close at any point. But that rain was literally for both of us, but for Victoria's first ride on it, unfortunately, like needles. So we both spent both our entire rides like with our eyes shut. And you know, it's like when you're just wincing, like curling into a ball almost, and it just wasn't enjoyable in the slightest. And it was just almost you wanted it to be over just because it just wasn't enjoyable. It was quite painful. I'd say when you're going 60 miles an hour and heavy rain is coming directly at you. Yeah. So the nighttime ride for me was top tier still.
Did you really do it twice?
Enjoyed that later on in the Yep, so we did once in the afternoon and then once at night. So I think that one, redeemed itself a little bit.
Okay.
Again, I don't know if we're going to get into other things too much, but Velocicoaster was up there again. So for the time being, I've left the rankings as it is, but I'm really not sure those two are flip-flopping in terms of that number one position. But yes, it was just Florida being Florida, unfortunately.
I mean, that's a lot better than what I was thinking. Like I said, I was going down the vomit route. I was fearing the worst.
No, I'm not quite that level yet. Forbidden Journey, maybe.
Yeah.
You know.
Do not speak ill of Forbidden Journey. Leave my Kukaram attractions alone.
Yeah, so you got a bit of an obsession, haven't you?
I have. It's just like you with coasters, me with Kukaram attractions.
I'm just waiting for Monsters Inc. to open at Hollywood Studios. Then maybe you will be that Disney
fan. Is that Kukaram?
Another Kukaram. Yeah.
No, it's a suspended coaster.
Oh,
it's a Kukaram, isn't it?
No.
Sure, it is in every way. What's it called? Monsters Inc. What?
There's no name for it yet, but it'll open in 2000, whatever.
I don't know who to go with because both of you are theme park experts. So anyway, it's Disney. We don't need to know about that.
It might be on like a bit of a slightly different track, but I think it's very much a Kukaram in many respects. Anyway,
moving on from that quickly. Sam, what about Victoria then? What's her kind of favorite ride she did? Do you know?
so
Do
for her,
you need to go
Hiccups
get
was
her
number
or
one.
Hiccups?
No,
Okay.
Hiccups was number one again. Obviously, experiencing it,
Yeah.
with Joey is very sort of different in terms of, I guess, how to approach things. Then her number two was actually Mario Kart, which I did give her some stick for, but apparently was
That
number
doesn't sound
two.
like you.
No.
You sit her down and say, "Look, it's just not going to work."
We'll see if that evolves over time. Maybe that's why she's refusing to go back with me next year.
What did you actually say to her, Sam? I need to know what you said to her. She won't be listening. Don't worry.
She will be listening, but I honestly can't remember. But I think I was in disbelief anyway. And then number three for her was Stardust.
Okay, that redeemed itself in the end, despite the rain needles.
from what she can remember, again, she's got as bad a memory as me, unfortunately, about this trip. But yeah,
it was like 3 weeks ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know it doesn't sound like a long time, but I think when you've done so much like in between of other kind of part things.
So, Sam, is there anything that you did on this last epic trip that you didn't do in the past?
I think only two things probably come to mind. The first one I probably alluded to early on, and that was meeting Toothless. So that was a huge thing in terms of for us going into this trip. It was the thing that Joey was most looking forward to. The thing he was really excited for doing from his perspective of training Hiccup. He wanted to put like his arm out like in the films and like Hiccup.
The great picture as well. If you're not following Sam on Instagram, 2 3/4 _ UK, is that right? Go and check it out because it's
maybe something like that.
Cutest picture ever.
Yeah, so we did that. So he absolutely loved that. So I was very much going to take one for the team and just kind of say, you guys go off and explore, and I'll just wait here for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Victoria was quite happy to do a lot of that queuing. To be fair, just had to go get the occasional Starbucks for her, make sure she was happy.
How long did you wait total?
I think it was probably the best part of 2 hours, to be honest with you.
Was it really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So like,
wow,
we only waited like as a collective like for the last 30-40 minutes or whatever. Like me and
so
Joe
you took it in turns a little
times.
All right.
And she did actually leave. That was the plan of taking it in turns, but in the end, she was quite happy just doing her bit. Elbows napping in the pram.
That's a long time.
That's a lot longer than what I thought you were going to say, Sam. Wow.
Respect but from her perspective, like it was 100% worth it. Like I think that for me was the highlight of our 2.5 week trip.
Right, wow.
Like I say, it'll never live up to that again because your first time, obviously, from Joey's perspective and how much he was into it, going back next year or the year after or whatever, there's not a chance we'd wait 2 hours, but it was certainly worth it. Like I say, the highlight of the entire trip for us. And then the second thing, which I know it's going to surprise you, but I can't remember the exact name of it now. Is it Mead Hall, maybe?
Okay.
The main restaurant in Burke?
Yep.
Yes, that's where we went for lunch. Like I said, we were there for quite a while. Some of it not necessarily our fault, but these things happen. But yeah, we didn't really know where to eat this trip. I don't know who it was, but someone tried to put me off Toad a little bit. Like he had something against Toad, like every opportunity.
Who would do that?
The Toad on I think like a Disney fan
yeah.
If I'm getting onto like a Disney fan page.
Disney speaking one.
So we did that and we really enjoyed it. Like we got again, because it wasn't necessarily coming out of our bank account, we got like the platter where you got like a bit of everything. It was like
the meat platter,
$50 or something. But that was like really good. Joey got sure what it was, a burger maybe, but it came in like one of these little cardboard like boats that was like themed to How to Train Your Dragon and things. So it was like that was probably the only other kind of main food bit other than the ice cream that we did differently. But yeah, really enjoyed that. So it was good.
Just going back to the Toothless meet and greet for a second, Sam. Did it ever cross your mind to potentially rope drop that first and get it out of the way so you didn't have to wait long?
To be honest, it was just after 10 by the time we got there.
Oh, was it? Okay.
The time Burke opened. So they opened Burke a few minutes early, which is why we weren't necessarily there for rope drop. That was the plan, to be there for 10 and to rope drop and go straight there.
Okay.
But it was literally because I think most other people rope dropped. So like the first time we went on Hiccups Wing Gliders, after me queuing 10 minutes and then swapping to Victoria and then me and Joe were wandering off to do Hiccups, we were at like 20 minutes. Okay. Which we were expecting probably to wait an hour plus or whatever. So I think that probably just shows that so many people who went into that world just went straight for Toothless. But I don't think it dropped a huge amount until the back end of the day, to be honest. And you don't want to risk when it was the most important thing for Joey, leaving it to the end of the day and then not happening for whatever reason. So, yeah, other than going 15, 20 minutes before that World Open, which we didn't necessarily think we needed to do because we didn't expect it to open early. I don't think there's a lot more we could have done, unfortunately.
How long did you get in that meet and greet as well? How long do you get before you get moved on?
I don't know specifically, but this is the reason why it was a 2-hour wait. It was a good few minutes, but it's not like your other one where you're 20 seconds and they try to move you out. Like, you get good interaction with Toothless. It was with the twins. I can't remember. Is it
Rough Nut and Tough Nut?
Yeah, they're the ones. They were there to start with, and then Hiccup came out. So then, like, when Hiccup came out, like, we almost did the reset time again, and then we got time with him and things, and then the pictures. So I reckon it's a good few minutes, which is, like I said, the reason it does get busy.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, would I rather wait an hour and have 20 seconds and a couple of pictures, or would I rather wait an extra hour but then get a good amount of time? I'd probably do that one, to be honest. So that's exactly the reason why.
I've got to ask, how hot was that queue in Burke? I've got to ask.
Not that bad, to be honest. Like, the first 20 minutes or so is in the sunlight. You're on the main path.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you get round, there's umbrellas and you're like in shaded bits of the queue up until pretty much the end. So it wasn't that bad, to be honest. And I will say we didn't get it, but sporadically Stormfly would come out as well. So you almost got like 2 separate meet and greets, and then Stormfly would go away or whatever. So actually, I'm not going to justify 2-hour wait, but if you were queuing, at least you were getting a little bit more bang for your buck.
It's definitely worth it. Like I say, if it's the highlight of your entire trip, and it's worth waiting 2 hours for, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, obviously people will wait 2 hours for Battle at the Ministry. If you get it on a bad day or whatever, you might be waiting an hour and a half, 2 hours for Hiccup Swing Gliders.
No, those rides are over in a few minutes as well, so it's a similar time as well.
Yeah, and what, in the grand scheme of things, what are you going to remember? The 2-3 minutes you rode Mario Kart for and waited 2 hours, or that 2 or 3 minutes where, from Joey's perspective, that was real.
Yeah,
that was the real Toothless. He had that interaction, everything he wanted that to be. It was so. How many years he'll remember that for, I don't know, but I think it's something we will certainly remember for forever, probably. In terms of how he felt, how he interacted and things. So, 2 hours well spent in that respect. So, especially for me, I was going around riding Hiccup Swing Gliders a couple of times and exploring, and other than having to queue half an hour in Starbucks to get Victoria Latte.
So how did you find the overall experience going to Epic Universe with 2 young children? Was there enough to keep them entertained throughout the whole day?
There was. It was certainly from Joey's perspective, there was plenty. From Elle's perspective, to be honest, by the time she had a nap and then we were going for food and then we were doing a bit of this, a bit of that, like, time escaped, where actually the bits that extra she could have done, like the carousel, we never ended up kind of doing. But again, there was no point where we thought she's struggling here for things to do. Like the show she loved, just exploring, seeing the dragons, like I said, playing with the water fountains at the end of the night. Like, she had a really good day, even if necessarily there weren't a huge amount of attractions. But I will say that is a park, even more so than maybe the OG original parks, that if you are a little bit taller, it probably does work in your favour. But I think certainly from taking them for a day or two's perspective, there's certainly enough where you can get enjoyment out of it.
I've actually got a question from Ella. First ever question from Ella on the podcast. And it's a really important question. She wants to know, what were the child swap rooms like at Epic Universe? Don't ask me why she wants to know this. Specifically the Dark Universe child swap rooms. What are they like?
So, this is an interesting one. So I can answer this because of my May trip. I can't answer it because of this trip. Because actually, because we were so short of time at that point in the night, we just agreed that some of us would wait in the exit area, so the gift shop, and just explore and look at those things with the kids, rather than kind of doing the whole packing the pram up and doing the family swap room that way. I did, however, cut through that room in May because it was a walk on, and just thought, rather than walking out and coming back round, it's fine, there's nobody on the door. It was fine. It was just a few benches, to be honest. It was a dark room. I'm not sure if I've got any pictures or videos from the May trip or whatever. But to be honest, a lot of the family swap rooms are the exact sort of same setup. So, it's themed to that particular area. You've got a bit of seating, you've got a TV. Not sure what the TV was showing. So I'm afraid.
I think she was wondering that universe, what were they showing for kids?
Yeah. I don't know. I would imagine it probably was some form of cartoon, to be
Yeah.
Not all like else fails.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure the
1999
1930s Dracula.
Yeah, I'll have to
enjoy, kids.
Yeah, I'm just googling it now to see if anything crops. I know on Stardust, the family swap room, they just had like the trailer, like the promotional sort of bits for Epic Universe generally, and I guess there wasn't a huge amount they could put on.
Yeah, all they could think of.
Did Joey do Monsters? Did he tell them for that or not?
No, he's about an inch short, but I probably wouldn't have.
He wouldn't
this time
around
anyway.
Yeah, that's probably for the best, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe next year or whenever we next go, when there's the opportunity to like build him up to it, and be a little bit older, then maybe. But sort of Roderick could give your kid nightmares for months to come.
I think he's still scared of Gringotts, isn't he? So maybe stay clear of Monsters Unchained.
He did say he was going to ride it, but again, I don't think we rode Gringotts this trip actually. So yeah, that never happened. Maybe next year.
Sticking with Joey then for a second, Sam. Obviously, I've asked your favourites. I've asked Victoria's favourites. It'd be rude if I didn't get Joey's favourite rides that he did.
Yeah, so his number one is probably no surprise in terms of Hiccups Wing Gliders, obviously through and through How to Train Your Dragon. Number two, I get it a little bit more from a kid's perspective, but I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit disappointed. No, and he wanted to do this again in the end, later on in the day, and I was like, no chance. Not with that cue.
Not my son doing that again.
Yeah. So number two was Curse of the Werewolf.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mario Kart.
Well, that's his number three.
Okay.
And we did end up doing that at the end of the day. We went back into that queue about 8:30.
You won't have heard it yet, Sam, but that was Danielle's hot take on Dark Universe in last week's episode. She actually really enjoys Curse of the Werewolf, and I was like, I'm kind of with you on that. It's fun.
It's average for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
To be honest, like if
it's a long time, 60 seconds.
Time, right. If the wait times were swapped around, I think I'd be a lot more understanding. Like if Monsters Unchained was an hour a lot of the day, I'd be like, you know what, I get it.
Yeah.
This is something else. Curse of the Werewolf, 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, it's all right, but it's quite short. That makes sense. But when it is that opposite way, so Curse of the Werewolf we walked on, which would be one of my ways of doing early park admission. But yeah, for most of the day when it's like an hour wait, no chance for me personally.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of at the same point. I don't know about you, Kenny, but if it's any more than 30 minutes, I'll probably turn it down. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. The longest I waited for it was 40 minutes. 40 minutes in single rider line because I had never done it. I wanted to.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It wasn't worth it. I mean, honestly.
I got stuck in that queue line when it broke down, and being the awkward, stubborn Brit that we were, we stayed and waited because we were near the front. And then this is on my second day at Epic Universe, and I was actually pretty ill that day, so I was stuck in that really hot queue, and we stuck it out. We got on eventually. I mean, it broke down mid-ride, which I don't know if anyone that follows me on Instagram, they'll have seen the picture of the werewolf from inside the little room you get shot through, and that's how we got it, because we got stuck there and we got a cool view of the werewolf. So, but yeah,
the only person ever to see that werewolf.
I know, no, you can't see it because it's gone in a flash, but we waited like well over an hour, so that wasn't too fun. So yeah, if it's any more
And I think part of it's expectation, because I'm pretty sure Universal intended this to be like a step above Flight of the Hippogriff or something like that. And meanwhile,
it is though. It is.
It's like the Land's version of that, pretty much.
It's not. Yeah, it's more thrilling than a kid's coaster, I'd say.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a step above. I didn't. It's not like Hagrid's.
It's not. Yeah. If you think about that land, and it's just Epic as a whole, but that land world, in particular, it's like how well themed it is, and you kind of got a bit of a off the shelf kind of coaster that spins a little bit over there. One of the other disappointments for me, which came from said werewolf room actually, Jay, was there's a flash, and the flash is just an effect. But because I had my photo pass, which was about to expire, and I was wanting to get as many pictures as possible, I came off that kind of looking for where the screens were to get my picture. Yeah. And the guy was like, no, it's just an effect.
That would be a great. Can you imagine the pictures? Can you get shot through quite fast? The pictures like spinning as well. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, missed opportunity.
Well, unfortunately, yeah.
All right. So, what would be your top tip for people visiting Epic with little ones now that you've done it?
Oh, that's a question, isn't it? I don't know.
Don't just say don't do it, because it sounds like you had a great time. So
leave them home. No.
Yeah. Kenny, don't say that.
So I think for me, it would probably be get them ready before the trip. So what I mean by that is we had such an amazing day because I kind of got Joey a little bit more into How to Train Your Dragon, and so he appreciated that so much more. So whether that is, How to Train Your Dragon, whether that is for Ella, Dark Universe, and brainstorming us kids by putting that on the TV, but maybe Nintendo might be the other one. But I would say just ahead of time to get the most out of Epic and to really get them blown away, and therefore to bring your enjoyment up to it as well. Just get something that's in that park that they're really attached to, or that they really enjoy, or can really recognize and associate kind of going into that day. And I think for them to have that an attachment, because these worlds are so well themed and arguably better, or at least rival any other world or land that's in any other park, I think if they've got that one thing that they're really excited for, I think just them buzzing into that day, but also exploring that world. And I think I'll just set you up for great success for the rest of your day. Like for me, and I know for you guys as well, based on the previous podcast, we all love Berk. We all love that area. And I very much do. It was my favorite world going into the May trip and the like. But for me now, just because of how into it Joey was, that lifted that whole land and world even more so. But to be honest, just Epic Universe as a whole for me now, I think a lot more of that park, and it probably just comes down to in many ways because of that connection Joey had with Berk and How to Train Your Dragon, which then just elevated the day and the mindset and how happier we were coming out of that day. That if it was just well, that's all right, yeah, seeing that, okay, that looks pretty cool. Right, what else is there to do? Not a lot else, and off you go.
So we obviously don't want to leave Elle out as well. Just remind the listeners and watchers how old she is and kind of what she managed to do, if anything, or how did she find the whole experience?
Yeah, so Elle was 18 months, I think. Yeah, almost to 19 months by the time we went to Epic. So from an attraction perspective, probably not a huge amount. She's probably about 28, 29 inches. So she could only do attractions that don't have any sort of height requirements. So for her, the things that she was able to do, other than the family rooms. So she met Toothless. So she spent, a bit of time sort of interacting with him, exploring the worlds, going to the Untrainable Dragon show. Like I said, the water fountain. The only other thing in reality she could have done was the other show and the carousel. So there wasn't a huge amount necessarily that she could do, but I think because she quite liked How to Train Your Dragon as well, just seeing the dragons, just exploring, just taking it all in. I think that park and just parks in general can be quite overwhelming for little ones, sort of as it is. So even though there wasn't a huge amount to do, at no point felt like we were struggling. The same way, to be honest, there's things at Universal, bearing in mind that she spent 14 days exclusively at Universal last year and a few days at Universal this year that have no high requirement that she still hasn't done. And I think that just goes to show it's because we're not necessarily struggling to keep her entertained and struggling, like just being there in itself is plenty for kids. Like, we plan to go to the How to Train Your Dragon kids area. And the playground and that type of side of it as well. One for her, but also for Joey. And again, just we didn't feel at any point that was the best use of the time because they were having fun doing other things. So, like I said, that would be a huge amount to add in terms of is it an ideal part for 18 months old compared to what may be down the road and how much they can get on attraction wise? No, but she certainly didn't struggle with things to do, and I don't think it would stop us from doing multiple days at Epic in the future.
So after your May trip, Sam, in terms of your ranking of the three Universal Orlando parks, Epic was number 3. Now you're speaking glowingly about the newest theme park here. Has it gone up or has it stayed as 3 for you?
It's still 3 for me.
Still
I'm not
3.
gonna lie. Yeah,
OGs for life.
Yeah, well, maybe not for life, but certainly for now. Like, I love Epic. I love the other parks even more. I know
I love
it's
that
one of
still.
the
I love that though. I love that.
yeah, it's one of the criticisms. I don't want to spend too much time because obviously we could spend multiple days as we all have at Epic. But I think for me personally, for it to go up those rankings, it needs
Needs
those
more.
expansions. It
Yeah.
needs more to do. Like, obviously, we love Universal. We will go re-ride attractions. You know, for me, if I've only done an attraction once, it feels like I haven't really done it. I need to do it multiple times in one trip to feel like I've really got the most out of it. So obviously, there's a lot in there that you can rewrite multiple times. But I think for me, to elevate it up to first or second place, there just needs to be a few more. So see you again in maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe. But I don't know. We love those originals, don't we?
We do indeed. We do indeed. Universal Studios Florida. I mean, I know that's number 2 for you, Sam, but me and Kenny, Studios for life. Where is it for you, Kenny? Just remind me where you had Epic in your
Oh, I had it at 2. For me,
2.
it crept in front of Islands, but
Yeah,
Studio stayed number 1.
I agree with you, Kenny. Oh, I don't want to piss off the Island Adventure people because they are die
No.
hard. But Velocicoaster.
I think
I was
Epic
Doctor
is just
Doom.
the best of both parks. It's like the best of what both of them have to offer, in my opinion.
So moving on then, Sam, you mentioned at the start of the episode, I think, that you stayed at Sapphire Falls for the very first time. Obviously, I think you had it planned initially and then it got cancelled due to COVID. So 2025 was finally the year you got to stay at one of the most beloved resorts at Universal. Again, if you're following Sam on Instagram, you'll know there was a bit of an issue. So just before we get into how was the hotel, just explain briefly, emphasize briefly, what the whole debacle was that you encountered with Sapphire Falls.
Sean, for what it's worth, I wasn't going to talk about the issues.
No.
So for whatever happens now and however long this rant is,
Oh
blame
no.
Jay.
My fault.
No,
You can't just not mention it though.
no.
All right, I'll see y'all in a little bit.
See you, Kenny.
Kenny's off to eBay to buy some more Universal merch. Yeah, so we had some financial issues, let's call them. So we prepaid for our trip ahead of time, which you can do if you book directly with Lowe's. So the £800 or so that our trip would have cost was all done and dusted. What Sapphire Falls tried to do, however, was to collect £800 twice over. And just to confirm, they didn't have a credit card for me. They had my debit card. So obviously, us in the UK will know what that means. Kenny and US listeners, that's like a checking account. So it's not just available credit; it is literally money coming out of your account. So they tried to collect the. Yep. They tried to collect the money basically 3 times for the stay. What they do is standard, but the girl on check-in never highlighted it was going to be to this amount, is they also take $100 a night just as like reserve in terms of any spends you do, which is fair enough, but they didn't flag it was going to be quite as much. So that was $500, which is standard practice, but disappeared. And then what they also did, so like I say, at this point, if all the money had gone out of my account, I'm probably over $2,000 down at this point, is every 4 hours of the trip, all hours of the day, they also try to take $400 out of my account as well. So I haven't totted it up specifically, but I think had my account have had all those funds in, thankfully I hadn't moved all my trip spending money across to this account. Otherwise, that would have been emptied. I think it was well over $7,000
Wow.
that their system would have tried to collect.
You've got £7,000. Sounds rich.
Thankfully, I didn't have that amount of money in said account. But every time, so that was a very big issue. Don't let me undermine that, but that was part of the issue. It was then whenever I went to reception, and on 2 nights, it was 3 a.m. when I went down because I got a notification on my phone saying Sapphire Falls have just tried to take more money. So I went down and they were like, look, we've stopped it now. It won't happen again. We know how that went on. They gave me a number to message them, which is just like a standard reception kind of thing. So I was doing that like literally when I was in the park saying, you've tried to take $400 again. And they were basically saying, no, we haven't. You're wrong. You need to speak to your bank because we haven't tried to collect the money.
Oh, wow. Not ideal.
Now,
When
it
you're
wasn't necessarily. Exactly, no, and especially at Epic as well. It was continuing and continuing. So it wasn't necessarily them at the front desk trying to collect the money, but their system in the background. But rather than them thinking, hang on a second, if we've got a guest saying this, why don't we speak to our billing team at central head office or
rather
whatever?
Than saying you're wrong.
Nobody did, yeah. But so basically, when the manager got involved and did that, they found all these issues. But anyway, so they kept on trying to collect $400, telling me they weren't. And then afterwards, they still held over £1,000, so maybe about $1,400 that they hadn't released back to me. Every time I tried to get in contact with them, they just ignored me. Every time I want to raise a complaint, they ignored me via Universal Guest Services.
Kenny's faces for those that are watching on YouTube.
my blood's boiling just listening to the story.
Yeah, well, you can imagine how I felt. Universal Guest Services arranged callbacks to which they agreed with Sapphire Falls, to which never happened. So you can only imagine kind of what I was like. So in the end, I got, as Jay alluded to probably before the episode started, an email address for someone quite senior. I got in touch with them, and then within 48 hours of that, everything was sorted. The money was back in my account, and
got the big boss
compensation on it. Sort of agreed for going forward. So I'm not one normally for like getting bigwigs, involved. Like I very much the person you speak to. Like I don't want to be that. I want to speak to a manager. I don't want to go full Karen mode. But in the end, that's where we went.
This is one of those situations where it's like, if y'all don't give me my damn money right now.
See, I love the difference in UK reactions to US reactions. Kenny's like, no, you need to go to town on these guys. And Sam's like, don't really want to go to the manager. But Kenny's like, yeah, go get me the manager now.
I will own Lowe's hotels by the time that was over.
I'll be the king of Sapphire Falls.
That I think it had been in the UK and like calling the number wouldn't have been an issue. It might have been a slightly different story, but I guess maybe you can appreciate it. It's like when I don't know if I met this call, how much is it going to cost me? Like exactly. I'm still on holiday, vacation at this point. It's like I don't mind spending a bit of time here and there, sending some messages in the evening, but it's like I don't want to be giving up my own sort of time during the day trying to sort it out.
So. Got it all back. It was all sorted in the end.
Yeah, pretty much all back. I think. Yeah, we got some spending money whilst we were there, and then we got 3 nights of the 5 nights back. I mean, I don't know if like 3 nights were a lot more expensive than the other 2 nights, because when I just worked out the average of what we paid, divided by 5 times by 3, they gave me like $130, $150 more than that. So from that perspective, I got more back than I was expecting. So all in all, probably by the time the spending money in terms of the 3-night cost, pretty much back where we started. So in that respect, it wasn't bad. It's easy now, you're the other side of it, to go, well, I got 5 nights stay out of it. But at the time, it wasn't, don't get me wrong, I'm not undermining this because it was obviously a big problem, but the problem itself was only half of the issue. It was then what happened trying to rectify it. And it was kind of how they could have just quickly nipped it in the bud. Somebody could have called the billing team. Somebody could have called me back and said, look, really sorry. This is why it's happened, but this is what we're doing. And here's a gesture of goodwill. Their initial response was to send me an email saying, yeah, it was our fault. Yeah, this is why it happened. Yeah, sorry about that. If you've got any more questions, just let me know. Hang on, we're missing a certain
more
bit here where I'm not just going to let this. And at that point, they hadn't even released my money either. So they're giving me an explanation, but it was only when this chap,
they were really keeping your money good,
but only when he got involved did actually get my money back.
I was like, where is my damn money?
Yeah. So I don't know how I'm not sure that was brief. Yeah, I was going to say, but you got yourself to blame.
Well, aside from that, how was Sapphire Falls?
You going back, Sam?
Well, as a side point before I answer that, good question, Kenny. This guy said next time you're staying at a Universal hotel or Lowe's hotel, to let him know, and he'll make sure that we get basically taken care of. He'll speak to whichever manager in whichever hotel and make sure we have a good stay. So when I told Victoria, I was thinking, well, maybe that means we get an upgrade, or maybe we get a good view, or maybe we get a bit of credit or something. She took it as, no, they're probably just going to make sure you get taken out next time round, like for all the issues and all the hassles. I don't know. Yeah, basically, yeah.
So Sam's coming, cross him off.
Oh yeah. They flagged your name in the system.
Yeah, you're flagged.
100%. But we liked Sapphire Falls. It was a nice hotel. I'm not sure where I'd place it. I'm not sure if it's my number one. Certainly top three, but I'm not probably sure at this point where. That's not to say it wouldn't be number one, but I'm just not sure. But that pool in particular is the best pool probably I've stayed at a Lowe's hotel, if not in Florida, or maybe a lot of the world, to be honest with you. It was huge. It had everything kind of you wanted to. Joey absolutely loved the slide. That was good. Obviously, the lobby, we've all kind of walked through that, I'm sure. The smell is the exact same smell as Royal Pacific, which I'm a big fan of in terms of that smell. Got that smell actually pumping into my room right now through an air machine, whatever they're called. So that was good. The staff, for the most part, other when they were lying to me, were really good. The only thing I wouldn't necessarily say let it down, but the only thing that I was maybe a little bit underwhelmed with was the rooms. For me personally, they just felt very like
really
bog standard universe.
It
reminded me a little bit of.
They're nice, but they're small from my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you're right. I think the bit that stood out to me was probably the decor, and it kind of felt a little bit more basic as opposed to the size. But that's not to say that they may well be smaller. So I'm sure you're right with that one, Kenny. But yeah, just the appearance. Like I was expecting it to be a little bit more like Royal Pacific-y. The room just felt a little bit more basic and cheaper. I don't know. It still had everything you'd want it. It still felt nice enough, but it just didn't feel like top end. Which I know it's not, but it's still like trying to compete in terms of those categories.
Here's the thing with that. So when they first opened the hotel, it was like its own category. It was like not quite the deluxe. I mean, Premier, that's what they call it. And it also wasn't quite the, mid-tier like Aventura and all those places. But now, since they've restructured the hotels, they consider Sapphire to be like up there with Helios.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that, yeah.
And I just don't think it really is going to hold up in that sense. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. The most awkward thing, and the reason why this was like only our second booking, albeit first time of visiting, is that price point. And I feel like a lot of times it is just either in a little bit of no man's land or a little bit closer to your express hotels. And therefore, for me, it's like, well, I'd rather not pay that. I'd either rather pay a little bit more, little being the word, and get an express pass out of it, or actually save a lot of money and go to kind of that next tier down. So yeah, it was if you can get a good deal, I would certainly stay there again. But I think if it was at its full price or whatever, it'd be a little bit harder to compare. Like good value for money when you see what you get elsewhere. But in terms of like the stay, like I said, we really like the hotel. Putting all the issues aside, it's certainly up there in terms of, for me, the best Universal hotels. You get a lot of the amenities that you get at the top end hotels. It certainly felt nice. One of the things, and sorry, Jay, if I'm going off on another tangent here, that I think lets Sapphire Falls down a little bit, but also just generally lets those top hotels down. And this could just because I'm cheap. Yeah, I come from a different price point. I'm a different type of guy.
You've got £7,000 in your account, Sam.
No thanks to Lowe's. And again, just to clarify, I didn't have 7,000.
Okay.
A lot of those payments were declined. They just tried to get.
Tried to. Okay. Try and take £7,000 off me. Try all you want, because you aren't going to get it.
Yeah, clearly, the clientele that normally goes to Sapphire Falls has that amount of money just sat there.
They picked on the wrong person.
Yeah, that's it. They thought this guy must have money. He's coming here. No, zero chance. But for me, it's the dining. Like I think at the top end hotel, and Disney may well be the same. I don't know, but because I'm used to your more lower end Universal hotels, I love the quick service options. I just like to be able to go grab a bite to eat. It's not going to cost me loads. I can get it quickly. I'm not having to worry about sitting down. I'm not having to worry about tipping. I'm not having to worry about paying for drinks on top. I just want to go get my food and head back to the room and chill. And Sapphire Falls, much like the other top end hotels, lacks that. You've got a few bits in like the Starbucksy areas. The same at Royal Pacific. You had a few options, but otherwise it's lacking. So one night I went to Cabana Bay. We got the menu up. Everyone told me what they wanted, and I just ran across the road. I mean, I walked the 20 minutes all the way around and did the correct bridge and walked.
You didn't cross that death street.
we know that.
And like I don't know how much I spent, like $40-50 or whatever, but like everybody got good meals. We ate it in the room and we were happy. And that for me is kind of what I want from a hotel, just something quick and easy. If I want something better, I'd be eating on City Walk. And I just think that's again something that's lacking, but that's standard, unfortunately, at the the top end Lowe's hotels that you get your fine dining, you get your posh your bar and your bar snacks and things, or you go to Amatistas and you have like a full buffet breakfast, which we did get comped actually. So that was tick in the box.
Deal.
Thumbs up
that was as part of the comp.
Was there no chicken tenders, Sam, around at Sapphire? No.
Actually, there are.
Yeah.
They're at the pool bar. So if you go to the pool area, that's where more of those quick service options are, like a burger, like
write it down.
Chicken finger stuff. Strongwater is really good as well. I like that tavern. That's one of the best places at Universal property, in my opinion.
See, Kenny, the difference between me and you is I haven't got the $7,000 in my account. You did have the $7,000 until you went to the Helios Grand and you ordered those wings and a
drink. Touche. Touching on the OG park, Sam, for a minute, I appreciate you might not have much to say because obviously nothing was kind of new there, but did you or the kids do anything different perhaps this trip there?
So what were the standout bits that were different? The Jaws stuff, that was good. We enjoyed having a look around, but I mean, that was only half an hour or whatever of just doing the photo ops and things. We did Kong with the outdoor section, which isn't obviously new, but it was new in terms of recent years, so that was good. We enjoyed that. Pteranodon Flyers, did that again for the first time in a couple of years, which was fine. I think we
still D-tier? D-tier, yeah.
CD, somewhere around.
I actually got a comment on TikTok a few hours ago saying, I can't believe you put Pteranodon Flyers in D. Only 1 out of 4 of them have ridden it, so...
Yeah, it was fine, but I think the only other thing that we've probably done that we haven't done for years was Camp Jurassic, which I think is probably like an overlooked sort of area. There's actually quite a bit sort of to it. There's some bits that, even though we've done it before, we'd never experienced and explored. So that was quite good, but otherwise, to be honest, it was that whistle-stop tour. It was almost a bit of a, hit this, hit that, go get Rob from Sapphire Falls for a couple of hours around the pool. Right, let's jump back.
Shout out, Rob, if you're listening. Not telling me about the podcast yet. Do you know who I am? I'm Sam from the Universally Speaking podcast.
No, unfortunately, I didn't quite get to that level.
Not yet.
Maybe next time. But yeah, by the time you throw in like an hour or two storm here and there and think like those days just quickly disappear. So nothing else new, but we enjoyed what we did at the original parks for sure.
I can't believe you missed the most important thing that you did this trip. You got to meet our very own Danielle.
Well, I thought this goes without saying, so why would I?
Sorry, Danielle.
I thought it was going to be a category in itself, to be honest.
But how was that? That must be nice.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to think if it was 2 or 3 times. I think 3 times in the end, actually, we met Danielle pretty much on every day that we were in the main parks. That was really good.
You getting that discount as well?
You got a lot of...
Getting that discount, Kenny?
Might have got a little discount.
We all know the discount.
We do. I didn't know the amount, to be honest. That was quite a nice surprise. It was just
like Sapphire Falls.
Go crazy. Go what you want. What I did want, unfortunately, which I never managed to get. Now, I didn't enter your competition because I thought I'll get my own anyway.
You didn't get one.
That T-shirt, the farewell T-shirt, they only did 2XL. Yeah.
You'll grow into it.
They did have them in the discount shop, actually, so they were like 70-80% off.
Okay.
So we were tempted to buy one. But
worth it. It'd have been like, what, $10 maybe, if that.
Probably if that, yeah.
Less than that,
yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, I wanted a medium. I thought that was going to be like a good shirt to get for the years to come, but unfortunately, it wasn't. But I did get the UOAP Nights T-shirt, which I quite liked, as you may well have seen, which was the Frank the Pug. It was like Men in Black themed.
Yes, that is awesome. Yeah, very cool.
Unfortunately, not with Danielle's discount. Yeah, seeing Danielle was lovely. Yeah.
Right, so Sam, just to finish off, we've got some questions from Instagram as ever. And actually, this is the most amount of questions we've ever received on an episode. Usually we get one from shout out Nick Carter, but this time we've got quite a few. I've had to delete a few because we've obviously covered it already in the podcast episode. So first one is from our good friend Gav Knott, and he asks 3 critical things to say about Epic Universe. Lack of shade can't be one.
Overrated food. For that one, because I haven't had anything that's really blown me away too often compared to some of the reviews.
That Black Burger blew you away in different reasons.
Oh, I did it. What would I say? Number 3. There's no cap on words. They're just like statements or
just 3 critical things. It could be anything.
Number 3 can be make sure you're there when it gets dark.
So from Beth Edge, she wants to know what is the top tip for a first-time visit. I'm assuming to Epic.
Yes.
Yeah, she's going hopefully the back end of the year, I think. That's but one tip, isn't it? Get there early, stay late.
Yeah.
Stay all day, yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Solid.
Don't go for a midday nap. Next one is from Susie Blue 1, and she asks, how many days would you allow on a 2-week holiday between Universal/Disney? Assuming she means just Epic Universe. So how many days out of 2 weeks across Universal and Disney?
I was going to say, get rid of Disney and do 14 days at Universal. Of Epic, well, so this year, obviously, you can only really do 1 day unless you're buying single-day tickets. I think we spoke about this previously, and we said maybe 4, I think, would be somewhere I'd want to stay. But I think the great thing about future trips in future years is going to be whether it's on your annual pass or whether it's on your 14-day ticket, you're going to be unrestricted in terms of how much access you've got. So for me, you wouldn't necessarily do all those as 4 days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think generally as a rule of thumb, if I were going, I'd want to do 4 days at Epic, maybe 4 general days, let's say, a couple of days at Volcano Bay, and then 8 days to either do the originals or have a couple of rest days or a couple of days doing whatever else. Rest days for her benefit. I wouldn't be doing rest days.
You can go see the ethnic clowns at Volcano Bay Night, Sam.
Excuse me?
God.
Have you heard that one yet? No, you've not.
No, he hasn't.
I ain't got to the news show yet. No.
Wasn't that last? Oh, that was last week's. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a surprise coming for you.
Oh my God.
Kenny's got us
Okay, I gotta
cancelled.
get
Kenny might
All
have
right.
got us cancelled.
If you're still watching this by then.
Yeah, I'm going to say, we got to 20 last week, and we're not sure if we're going to get to 20, because, to be fair, Kenny, we've not had any backlash just yet, so fingers crossed, we're in the good.
And we won't. It was fun. It was fun. People like the ethnic clowns, apparently. Okay, anyway. Mark AFC 81 wants to know, can you pay cash at restaurants and quick service at Epic? Yes. Next question.
Yep.
Well answered.
Yeah, we used our room key as well. Thanks, Sapphire Falls, to pay for things. So I'd say definitely mobile ordering is the easier way and probably the quicker way.
Definitely,
but yeah, whether it's cash or room key, you've got those options still.
I couldn't imagine ever going to Orlando now with cash. I used to take a massive wallet of cash, but now I will never do that ever again.
I still remember like a couple of years ago, the immigration officer at MC asked us how much you've got in cash, and I was like,
£7,000.
Sapphire Falls already taken that. I was like, literally $100, and I was waiting for him to like go, what? Like, it'd be a big thing, but clearly he was happy with that answer because I didn't say like 10,000 plus or whatever. But yeah, I'm the exact same way. I take a little bit of cash. To be honest, sometimes it's more if I'm going on iDrive or maybe to some of the more shadier areas that I don't want to give my card.
Shadier areas.
I'm not going to lie, you might not want to take the cash over there, just saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. Give me all your cash.
Like, I went a totally different direction. I'm like, oh no, if they see you whip out your wads of 20s, easy target. No.
Whipping out $7,000. Moving on quickly. So yes, you can pay cash. So next one is from Disney Ann, and he asks, if doing all 3 Universal parks, where would you choose to stay, I guess, transportation-wise?
What I would say is, rather than days, just think how many times you're going to visit these parks. And to be honest, if you're going to spend 50% or more of your time in Epic, I would go to Stella Nova. If you're going to spend 50% or more across Volcano Bay and the original 2, I'd probably look to stay more at the original kind of hotels. Do it that way.
What would you say to that, Kenny?
I agree with that strategy. Like, I've yet to stay at one of the OG resorts and then travel to Epic. So, so I haven't done it from that perspective. But I would say if you're going to go to like the OG parks and City Walk, you might as well just stay like at Endless Summer, Cabana, like all those places, instead of trying to stay at Epic.
I think that's the bit as well. Like, the parks are obviously a huge chunk of it, but I think if you're at those top end hotels in location, you've got City Walk as an option versus obviously you've still got it as an option if you're at one of the 2, 3 closer to Epic, but it just becomes a little bit more difficult, a little bit more out your way. I can
it's
just
only
imagine
15 minutes in fairness.
It's
only 15 minutes.
It is, but there's still it's 15 minutes when you set off. Is it the how?
Do you think we're a bit spoiled because we're so
people?
used to it taking like
I know, like
from Endless
5
Summer, it
minutes
takes like 5
there.
minutes.
And I think, obviously, I know Disneyland is, as the username would suggest, a little bit more sort of Disney focused. But now, having stayed at Walt Disney World, like Universal is a completely different beast, but for the better in terms of its proximity. Like we stayed at All Star Movies, and like 15, 20 minutes is the standard to get to a park. So for Disney people, like that might actually feel normal, or actually might feel quite low. But when you're used to, like you say, 5 minutes on a bus or being able to walk or whatever, because you're so close to all the parks, obviously Epic has thrown in that.
So is Ant going to change to Universal Ant? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, can't we? See what we can do.
One of us.
All right. And then last one from our favorite friend here, Nick Carter. What surprised you most compared to your visit during previews?
Yeah, I guess I'll just go for something slightly different, which was a nice surprise. It was operations. I think just coming into this, like whether that was their own fault, whether that was weather, like that was, I think, the thing that was going to make or break this trip for me. But actually, by August and this trip, they pulled the finger out. Everything was, for the most part, running really smoothly. Yeah, one of the shows that we were queuing for unfortunately got cancelled. Last minute we got some express for it. But otherwise, I didn't see a lot of attractions with much downtime, as opposed to May, where things were up as much as they were down. So that was a nice surprise.
Nice.
Good stuff. Right, I think that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you both for joining me. Kenny, thanks for being here and talking Epic Universe for the second episode in a row. I appreciate you being here.
Hey, no problem. Love it.
It'll be something different next week, I promise. Just you wait, I'm going to book a last-minute trip to Epic Universe, so we have to talk about it again.
Now, that would be episode worthy. I would love to hear more about that.
Sarcasm?
We're doing an episode on early park admission into Epic and strategies, because I think we've talked
Just
about
go
that.
to Donkey Kong.
Yeah, something that's never been discussed ever.
I'm sorry, because people will have asked that in the question box, but we have covered it quite a lot now. We covered it last week.
I need to go back and listen and see if these strategies tie up with mine.
Don't listen to us. What do we know?
If anybody wants to know what I would do, message me on Instagram.
Yeah, message.
I mean, the real strategy is get there at like 4:00 when everything's like down to a low weight, just stay till nighttime. But
the APs aren't here yet, Kenny. Sam, thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing your experiences from your trip to Epic Universe and Universal and the whole Sapphire Falls debacle. I'm sure, again, forgetting about Sapphire Falls, thinking about Epic Universe, I'm sure kind of your experiences and your tips will help out a lot of people and hopefully families as well.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been good to try and remember some of the trip and reminisce on some of the positives. Like I say, I think we take Sapphire Falls out of it. From an Epic Universe perspective, I don't have a huge amount of negativity towards that based on this trip versus May's trip, where I think half of the conversation was geared towards that. So yeah, been really good to think about those high moments, and yeah, definitely some standout moments of this trip coming from Epic.
And see, you didn't manage to remember everything. You were worried you couldn't remember what happened, but you did remember in the end. You got there.
I'm sure there's probably like 10 key moments of the day that I just like completely forgotten.
We'll do another episode next week about that. Sam's back at Epic again.
As long as Kenny can be on it.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, EPA strategy. Just do what you want. I don't care anymore.
Just don't do Battle at the Ministry. There, I've said it.
It's interesting you say
just
that.
Don't do it.
I've been speaking to someone today actually called Kirsty on Instagram, and she was at Epic Universe today as we're recording this for the very first time. And she went straight to Battle of the Ministry. And guess what? It went down while they were in that stationary queue, Kenny. It went down, but it got off in the end 11:06 a.m. So not too bad. They've got it out of the way, and they've said that in recent stories that it got up to like a 2.5, 3 hour wait in the afternoon. So in some ways, I know you said don't do it, but they got it ticked off early, and they don't have Sam shaking his head. I don't know.
I know. I have to agree. This is something I really like the ride, but I'm not gonna go there first anymore. Like that's a no go for me.
But Kirsty, I'm pleased you got to do it.
So much to say about why not to do it, but you try to wrap up the episode. So.
I am. Sorry, I've tried 3 times. Each to their own. Right. Thank you both for joining me. We'll see you all in the next one.
See you.